Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and Christmas elves, please head to your seats as the show is about to begin.
Ho yay, ho yay, ho yay. Welcome one and all to the Visit York Christmas special. You may know me as the man in the big red coat. No, not that one. I'm Ben Fry, the town crier. But of course, Christmas this year feels a little bit different. But we want to get you comfy, have a cuppa and settle in for the Christmas holidays. Some of our friends from in and around York have come together to bring some Christmas cheer directly to you this year. So let's not waste time. Here to add some mystery and ghouly goodness to your Christmas is Dr. Dorian Deathley, resident spookologist of York.
Oh, hello there. Hello, and welcome to the fireplace. I'm going to take you back now to the 1800s. There's a fellow by the name of Jonathan Martin. Now, Martin had a very interesting life. He was actually born to a gentleman who was a tanner, and that was the family trade. He was believed he would follow his father's footsteps. But unfortunately, quite early on in his life, things took a bit of a dark turn. He witnessed his own sister being murdered by a neighbour, and at that point he began to be shuffled around and passed on a little bit because nobody really knew what to do with him. He sailed as part of the Navy for quite a while. He learned all kind of knot and rope related skills which will come in handy a little bit later on. Now ultimately, as the years go on, he starts to become unravelled ever so slightly. He becomes a little bit unwell, I'm afraid to say. Now eventually he settled here in York with his second wife on a little sort of chamber that was owned by a local bookkeeper. And everyone just thought he's quite an interesting, quirky fellow. He led a very interesting life, even though he wasn't that old. He started to actually sell his own biography, his autobiography. Would walk around with printed out copies of it, and he made the equivalent of £14,000 by today's money just from selling his own story. Now, he attended the York Minster, the morning and the evening services, with stern and strict regularity. But unfortunately, there was one day where something just wasn't right. He started to hear this buzzing sound coming from the church organ, and he absolutely became obsessed and driven to madness with it. He began to believe that God had spoken to him, and God wanted him to burn down the Minster. He started leaving letters of intent around the outside of the building, threatening to do this, to do that. We found him to have a word, because he was so confident in what he was doing that he started leaving his initials and his address, his home address, written at the bottom of the pages. He attended an evening service and he hid behind a pipe, one of the church organs, waited until everyone had cleared out, and he made himself a little rope ladder using the skills that he'd learnt while part of the Royal Navy. And he climbed up and over a closed gate into the choir area, and he made himself little piles out of the kindling, out of smashed up bits of seating, the fluffy innards from the pillows, and he lit them up and off they went. And he looked back at his handiwork and he realised very quickly he was in trouble because he'd sealed himself in. There was a door, there was a wall of flame, and then there was a window. So he did the only thing that any sensible northern individual would do, with no care of his own safety. He kicked through the window and lowered himself down, legging it off into the night. Now ultimately it was a young choir boy who raised the alarm. He was making his way in to prepare the rooms for a morning's practice when he slipped on a patch of ice. He lands on his back, he looks up and he sees two black columns of smoke belching up and out of one of the towers. The alarm goes up. Unfortunately, they believe the Minster to be lost. It was too late to do anything about it. But then, suddenly, one of the towers falls in on itself, and it gives access to the core of the flame. Actually smothers quite a lot of it as well. people believed for some time that the hand of God himself had reached down and given the tower a little bit of a cheeky flick, and we were quite well behaved in the city for a few weeks. But, it's the north of England and we get a bit rowdy up here, so it didn't last for very long. Martin was apprehended, not far from York, actually. He was hidden inside of a second family member's cellar. He was arrested. Everyone thought for certain the death penalty was we're going to have a good hanging here in York, because let me tell you what, friends, we loved those in the olden days. But ultimately he was stashed away in the Royal Bethlehem Hospital, more commonly known as Bedlam to you and I. Now, here is the festive bit. He was visited on several occasions by a gentleman I think you may have heard of, Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, despite the fact he wrote wonderful festive books, Christmas Carol of course, he was obsessed with murderers and torturers and fiends and heretics, and he would often visit poorhouses and madhouses to spend time with these people, to study the character, to really get to know them. And he found Martin absolutely fascinating, and we know he visited him a minimum of 3 times before his death in the middle of the 1800s. This whole grim nature of Charles Dickens carried on for some time. In fact, even with Christmas Carol, which some people argue over the years, is it a ghost story? Is it a Christmas story? Is it something that exists somewhere in the middle? That's what I like to think. Dickens even would perform the book. He would go to theatres, to libraries, to open areas, and he would perform the book to an ocean of terrified people, absolutely chilled to the bone. Modern adaptations of Christmas Carol, they do focus more on the warmth and the loving message, but if you read the original text, published in the 1800s, never out of print since, all the way to the year 2020. You can quite easily just go pick up a copy from almost any bookshop in the world. It's a frightening one. There are some terms, some phrases, there are certain chapters that are genuinely haunting. The appearance of Marley is terrifying. There's the part where he undoes the bandages around his head and his jaw falls down to his chest, exposing his throat, his tongue, the blackened teeth. The appearance of the ghost of Christmas yet to come is a genuinely chilling moment. Absolute hauntings and horrors. That version with the Muppets, as wonderful as it is, the presence of a certain green frog does take away part of the horrors. I think you will agree. So I suggest this year, visit York, have a little bit of a wander around, visit the York Minster, of course, do check out the history of it all, remember the acts of Jonathan Martin and how thankfully he didn't completely succeed in his ways, and why not revisit A Christmas Carol, that most festive of Christmas literature. Stay safe, stay spooky, have a happy Christmas, and a Merry New Year. The other way round. Happy Christmas, Merry. Who's next?
Now our next performer is so talented. I mean, we are a talented bunch up north after all, but so talented, he's going to make it snow. Not literally snow. That would take some real talent, but it's musician Jez Lowe, and he's graciously performed an original song for Christmas for us. It's called Snow Dancing, from the set of Bad Apple Theatre's The Snow Dancer.
Children are snow dancing in the pale winter light, hoping that their dirty streets will soon be wrapped in white. Then they'll roll it and throw and go sliding from morning till night, and nothing else will matter but the snow, snow, snow. Snow dancing, snow dancing. Winter, won't you weave your spell on the world? But the skies are wet and weary, still they dance and they dream. Do-si-do like Eskimos, with moves like Jagger and Jean. As autumn waits for winter. It washes the sky cold and clean. But what good is winter without snow, 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 snow dancing, snow dancing. Winter, won't you weave your spell on the world? So come with me snow dancing until it lies deep. We're old and cold and not so bold as once we claimed to be. But there's still time for risks and chances before we must sleep. So wrap your arms around me in the snow, 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 snow dancing, snow dancing. Winter, won't you weave your spell on the world? Snow dancing, snow dancing. Winter, won't you weave your spell on the world?
Now, as if snow dancing wasn't enough, the talented bunch at Bad Apple Theatre have also sent us a snippet, just a snippet, to whet your appetite of their production of The Snow Dancer, telling a touching winter story with the help of some friends from the forest. I want forest friends. Where are my forest friends?
Who goes there? Oh. King of the forest. There was once a time when your red coat was a welcome bloom of colour in my black and white world. But today, you can keep your pointy meddling nose out of my business. Give a voice to every woodland creature with your magic if you dare. But I shall hear none of them. King of the forest, as you well know, though I did not choose the life of snow, for once for frost I was wide-eyed and eager. Now I'd rather be sunning myself in Antigua. So I shall persuade some other chancer to release me from life of snow dancer. There's naught you can do to stop me. Ha!
Fred, you can come out now. I've got some food you can share. They're Nana's ham and pickle sandwiches. All right, you got me. It's not really ham. It's not ham. You know, no pigs were harmed in the making of this sandwich. Can't tempt you? Okay then, your loss. Look. So get your nose right in the end. Not too bad if I say so myself. It's a beautiful evening, Red. The weather shouldn't be like this. It's almost Christmas. But the seasons are all over the place and no one seems to know how to put it right. So it might look beautiful, Red, but it's all wrong.
Your words are wise, Aurora of the tent. Wise and yet sad.
What did Nana put in those not ham sandwiches?
Who knows? But at least we can be certain it was not ham. You must find the snow dancer, Aurora of the tent, and bring back the snow. You see, long ago, in a world before time, there were 4 spirit dances, children if you like of the north wind. Look, the light aurora. There were 4 spirit dancers, and each had the power to change the seasons when they danced upon the earth. The flower dancer.
Spring.
She was the youngest, the most impulsive and reckless. The sun dancer,
Summer.
who always craved warmth and light. The leaf dancer,
Autumn.
king of the forest. And of course, the snow dancer.
Winter. I get it.
And for thousands of years they played happily, as if brother and sister, taking it in turns to guide the sacred earth through its year-long journey.
But we did everything he asked.
But alas, it seems you have failed. For centuries, we relied on the dance of the snow to turn the seasons once more, but I see no snow dancer here. Maybe there's one thing we didn't do.
What?
Dance!
Dance. I told you, I don't dance.
Oh, neither do I, but what if all this time we've been waiting for the snow dancer to do his thing and make it right, when all this time he needed us to dance? Children are snow dancing in the pale winter light, hoping that their dirty streets will soon be wrapped in white. Then the rolling throw and go sliding from morning till night, and nothing else will matter.
In the snow, 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 snow dance.
Snow dancing. Winter, won't you leave your spell on the world? Ha ha! You have a great spirit, human child. You have changed the forest beyond recognition.
I had a lot of help.
Aye, and all it took was a little snow.
And that's that then. All's well that ends well.
Shakespeare.
I knew you'd like that. Oh, I think there's only one thing stopping us from taking over the entire planet.
What's that?
I think we're snowed in.
Well, do we know anyone who's any good at digging? Red!
Mirabelle!
It's snow time!
Forget your cares, ignore your worries. They promised us like balls and flurries. Instead, the world outside you hardly know. The night smacks of fearsome bite.
Roads and hooves are acting white.
It's quite a sight, the whole world's wrapped in snow. We're snowed in, we are snowed in. It's halfway up the door and getting higher. We're snowed in, we are snowed in. So put another log upon my fire.
Now, breaking news. Well, probably not breaking news. It's been a bit of a difficult year, hasn't it, for many of us? And whether you're still working from home or are deemed a key worker, your year has certainly had its ups, maybe just a few, and quite a lot of downs. It's also been hard for the little ones, with schools suddenly being very, very different. But the year ones at Westfield Primary Community School, my old school, come on guys, have come together to sing for us this Christmas. This is Silent Night, to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Oh
Now, I don't want to overplay our next performer, but let's be honest, the man is York singing royalty. Legend. The word's banded around too much, but not for this guy. It's the one, the only Alastair Griffin, shot to fame on BBC's Fame Academy, has been entertaining us ever since and has been a superstar with some amazing stream gigs up and down the country through lockdown. Here he is to perform an original Christmas song. Christmas time in the city. Enjoy.
Packing up my bags and putting on my coat. Gonna catch the last train that'll take me home. I didn't ask for much in the letter that I wrote. The one thing on my list was not to be alone. It's Christmas time in the city. The streets are paved with gold. I look around, so pretty, but I still feel alone. If I could make it home, back where I belong, at Christmas time, coming home to you, my love. Shop windows fill, bags are overflowing too. Sally Army plays that old familiar tune. It's Christmas time in the city. The streets are paved with gold. I look around, so pretty, but I still feel alone. If I can make it home, back where I belong, at Christmas time, coming home to you, my love. At Christmas time, coming home to you, my love.
In a year full of so many changes, there's even been change at York Minster. Now, you might have noticed that we have a brand new Archbishop of York who didn't want to miss out on this festive extravaganza and wanted to come and wish you all a very Merry Christmas. He doesn't actually realise he's just the warm-up act for the world-famous York Minster Choir.
Whether it's a walk around the city walls, the Clifford Tower, a fat rascal from Betty's, museums where you can find out about Vikings and trains, not in the same museum, a fantastic market where you can get the most fantastic food, Yorkshire cheese. York has so much to offer. And of course, at the heart of York, York Minster itself. I wish you a happy, peaceful Christmas, and I so much hope a much better 2021. Visit York, you won't be disappointed.
I know you have. You wouldn't have missed it for anything, but I presume you've been enjoying the York Christmas at Home Festival from the National Centre for Early Music. What? You've missed some of it? Don't panic. Don't panic. We can share a performance with you right now. And for more, get all the info on the National Centre for Early Music website. Now this year, there is no doubt that you've got to be a little bit creative in how we do Christmas. Whether that's your staff party being held over Zoom, still with terrible party hats and Christmas jumpers, or missing your nan's roasties on the big day, or even watching this Christmas special, it's all a bit new. And York Theatre Royal have made sure that the theatre comes to the festive party with their amazing travelling pantomime, which has been heading all across York to bring Christmas antics with a twist. The audience even get to decide which show they see before it begins. Now they've kindly shared a small snippet of what people across the city have been enjoying. So head over to York Theatre Royal's website for more information. Fair warning, this next clip is a bit cheesy. Oh yes it is. Oh no it isn't. Oh yes it is.
Hiya Mum, what's going on?
Oh, you'll never believe it. I've just heard that Bruce Forsyth was banned from the 1983 Wig of the Year competition.
No way.
Yeah.
Brucey was banned from the 1983 Wig of the Year competition.
Yeah, apparently he was using performance-enhancing rugs. We'll cut that one tomorrow.
What's all this stuff, Mum?
Oh, well, you know Flesh Creep is wanting to steal all the pantomime jokes.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd hide all these magazines and newspapers, because they've each got a joke connected to them.
All right.
Yeah.
Hang on, all these newspapers and magazines have got a joke connected to them.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this isn't just the setup for a spurious comedy routine, is it?
A spurious comedy routine? As if we do a spurious comedy routine in a pantomime. Don't be ridiculous, son. What was that? Don't even accuse me of it, okay? Okay? Hey, having said that, come closer. I want to have a chat with you about that girl.
Which girl?
You know, the lady.
Marie Claire?
No.
Jackie?
No.
Oh, Nikki? Mandy? Judy?
No. The one who's always looking in the mirror.
Oh, you mean Bella?
No, the one who thinks the sun shines out of a...
Bunty?
Yes, that's the one. Bunty, do you know her?
Well, only vaguely. Took ages to write this. Why, what's she like?
I don't like her attitude. I can't stand being in a company You know, she takes me to Ellenback.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Well, it all started that day I went for my weekly trip to see the doctor.
To the doctor? Doctor who?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So anyway, I went to see him. Because, you know, I'd had that major surgery to the joint at the top of my leg.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? You had major surgery to the joint at the top of your leg.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you, actually,
what?
how was your hip-hop? Hip-hop?
Well, when I go to the doctors, there are a lot of people there, all standing in a queue. In fact, it was a really long queue. I'd go so far as to say it was an absolutely ginormous queue. And we're all queuing up behind letters of the alphabet. There was a queue behind the letter A, a queue behind the letter B, a C queue, a D queue.
Hey, ma'am, I better know which line you stood in.
That's right, love, the G queue.
Ma'am, is this a true story?
Yes, of course it's a true story. And the queue was so big, I didn't get a look in.
Oh, looking. Anybody remember that from back in the day? Remember looking back when everything was fine and dandy?
Happy carefree days. Such gay times.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what? Oh, sorry. Put that there for later. Now, look. She was there as well.
Who?
That woman.
Which woman?
The one with the great big
Bunty.
That's her. Well, she started being rude. She said, I've seen your house and garden. I said, oh, yeah? What do you think of my home? She said, I've seen better homes. I thought, whoa, hold your horses. Easy, tiger. Take a break, sister. Time out, girlfriend. And then, yeah. And then I started getting personal, and I said I didn't like her red hair.
And what did you say she should do about her red hair?
Dye it. In fact, I told her to dye it monthly.
Well, I bet she didn't like that, did she, ma'am?
She did not. She went mad.
Yeah. Oh.
Totally nuts. And we had some crosswords. And she started to shout. And I thought, hello, it's all going to kick off in a minute. And the heat was on. And we started to fight, only we weren't very strong, so we just started wrestling weakly. She was no match for me, though, but unfortunately I was wearing a necklace with a big pendant, and kerrang! She hit me.
Where did she hit you?
Big finish! Right! Independent! Thank you very much!
Now, we wanted to make this a very special York Christmas for all of you. And of course, we wanted to finish big. So we reached out to famous faces with a York connection to wish you a Merry Christmas. Of course, we tried Dame Judy. I might have overplayed how good of friends me and Ellie Goulding really are after her wedding at the Minster. And then we hit on the big one. We realised there's only one celebrity we needed to wish you a very Merry York Christmas. And we only went and got him. Over to you, Mr. Christmas.
Hello, can you hear me at home? That's good. I'm here at Mother Shipton's cave, taking a break. But I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, I know this year has been a challenge. It's been different for us all. Therefore, in light of this, the Board of Christmas Elves and I have a very important announcement to make. This year, and only this year, there will be no naughty list. Anyway, I've got to dash, I've got to finish getting ready. But I want my friends to help me wish you the merriest of Christmases, however you spend it, whatever you are doing. Where's that young man with the guitar?
We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings